We have a doubleheader regional for you here. There's going to be a lot of information, and yes, we even have Runic for you today. You guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So we're going to be dropping straight on into the Mississippi Regional here. Your breakdown for this event is, holy moly, that's a lot of purely. I don't happen to, where's the rescue ace here? What's going on here? Well, for whatever reason, all right, there is 0 rescue ace in the top cut of this event. But I will tell you, there's some very interesting little things down here on the side. We also had Infernoble. We also had a Labyrinth duelist. Okay, I see you, meta. We had Unchained. And then we also had, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was this Runic deck. But there's also a Bysteel Synchro pile over here that is piloting some Orcust cards in it. And you're going to be like, wait, really? We're playing an Orcust package? Yeah, we've come a long way out here with some of the ideas that people are kind of exploring in the meta, and that's kind of what you want to see, is different ideas and things being explored. Let's pass on over to those deck lists. Starting things off here, we have our winning Infernoble deck list, and Infernoble overcame all that purely. Wow. Okay, I do see that we are playing droplets for board breaking. There is our favorite card in the whole wide world, Angel's Ring. I still love this card. Like, it is such a unique little aspect that this deck can actually play around with and get away with, maximizing on all the right ratios. We are, of course, playing the Witch package, as we should be, because this package definitely helps this deck along a lot. All right, trust me, if you are trying to play this deck without doing the Diabell Star package, you are doing yourself a horrible, horrible disservice. I also like the fact that we are seeing some Relinquished Anima and some nice little Link Spider down here, as well as just for the posted Nibiru that we can go ahead and continue on with our day and at least try to make some sort of board after we've been cratered off the face of the planet. But okay, I like what I'm seeing here. Another little twist and turn on the meta. Next up here is our Unchained list. You know, I will say a lot of these lists do continuously look the same to me, but there's one little saucy tech choice down here that brings me great joy to see, and it's actually Sangan. Now remember, whatever you add from your deck to your hand, you can't use for the rest of this turn. But what happens if I use this to go search for a hand trap for the next opponent's turn? And that means that I can deny them the chance to actually try to play the game. And that's the biggest thing that I think people kind of forgot with this is, oh boy, you know, I can still go get something for the next turn. But this typically has to be an interaction with you going first, and you're going to have to see the tour guide in order to capitalize on that, in order to kind of get that best advantage. It doesn't always happen, but trust me, it does come up enough that a deck like this, considering it, does not surprise me. Next up here, we have Purely. I see that we've had to go the route of playing some board breakers in order to kind of deal with the meta, which is kind of understandable, actually. Considering how much BS that we have to go through in the current game, having something like this to be able to break down a board and go, hi, I'm here, I'd like to, you know, have the chance to play the game, is not all that surprising. Let's call it what it is at this point in time. The game needs more board breakers, but okay, we are sticking to the one Purely Leap. I think this has been a pretty big TCG thing. Well, the OCG loves multiple versions of this card. TCG actually doesn't really have much of a way to kind of support this. So, okay, and of course, Purely is the one deck in the room still loving Summon Limit. Hey, getting the chance to tell your opponent, nope, you can't do any more after they've started some crazy process to start burning out your giant Nor. Yeah, it typically, it's kind of bad. All right, what else we got here? Hey, it's our Runic list. 2 copies of Morganite. Now, I can get behind this. This ensures that you can see it some of the time, but not all of the time. That's the biggest thing I hate about this card is if you end up playing too many of it, you kind of just end up in a really bad position with it. Like, you're just going to end up with so many dead resources. Like, you don't want to try to burn this down too much. So I think effectively that this does kind of get the job done in the correct manner. Also, 42 cards is 100% fine here. Like, you're not trying to go too terribly crazy. I also see that we are on the 2 split here. Triple this for time. A lot of this feels pretty good. Once again, I mean, you can explore 42 extremely easily with this deck and get away with it. Like, you have so much room for this deck to evolve, especially, you know, with the ratios. As long as you have cards like this kind of filter for you, you should be fine. All right, next up here, we have our Labyrinth list. Okay, now this is where things kind of get saucy here. We are playing triple copies of Backjack here, and we're playing triple copies of Nadir's Servant. So it looks like we're trying to do this little advantage package here to kind of do our thing. And then what in the world are we doing down here? We're playing a mini live twin package in this deck as well. This is actually kind of interesting, just seeing the ideas that they're trying to explore out here with this, because I think this does give a nice little change of pace to what we've kind of been dubbed the norm out here for the power of Labyrinth. Really, though, like, we're not even like hugely dedicating to this. It's just a 1/1 splash. And, like, we're not even doing Ultimate Slayer plays to back this up either. Okay. And our last list we have out of this regional is our Orchest Synchro pile. This is actually kind of cool. You're still using the King's Sarcophagus package to kind of filter through and do the standard lines of play, but I also see here that we are playing the Mech Knight package to kind of ensure that the deck does get its bearings going. And you are going to notice something down here of deck destruction, or deck lockdown here, being an amazing card that you can hammer down on your opponent and ensure that you can do your thing. And now remember, destroy this card. Hey, look at, you guys remember this card? If a card you control be destroyed by battle, a card effect, detach material from this card instead. Yeah, this is where you kind of get into some really scumbag territory where you can have your Dingrisu protect the deck lockdown. Yeah, it's the same thing that we did with the Golgar back in the day. Just soft loop it back and forth. All right, now let's pass on over to our next regional. The Nova Scotia regional here had 3 Rescue Ace decks in its top cut. Holy moly, that's a lot. I didn't think that we would see that much meta pushing down on the event, but okay. And then we followed it up with 2 Unchained variants. Like, did every single meta player in the entire room want to come out here and just go, yeah, we're going to throw down against all the Rescue Ace players? Yeah, Unchained. Okay. We also had a Chimera version of the meta kind of floating around out here, and some Manadium. Okay, I mean, I'm not hearing anything different. And then we had a Salamangreat Duelist actually kind of step up here and challenge the meta, which is actually kind of cool. I'm happy to see that at least out of the entirety of this top cut, that Salad could be the one deck trying to challenge the meta and see what more they can actually kind of come up with. All right, now let's pass it over to the top cut. Our event here is none other than Unchained. And you want to talk about just hopping in a time capsule here and calling up Old Reliable. It's pretty good. I see that, of course, we are playing Spot of Prosperities for filtering. We still are playing the DDD package as per usual. We have Valor's Ashes. Yeah, this is pretty standard. We're not even playing Mistaken Arrest. We're just boarding in tack talents to make sure that we can kind of clear off anything that the opponent might actually be threatening us with in terms of lethal. Okay, looks good. Next up here, oh, wow. Double Unchained versions out here. First key differences here. Hi, Exceed Encore. How are you? This will ensure that, we can break apart the cat. We don't have to deal with it. Though, thrusting on into this to ensure that, we can kind of do our thing is pretty good. And I also see that we are seeing the Sangan tech that we just saw in the previous video, or earlier, kind of get some chance to shine. Hey, whatever hand trap you need. Not this one, though. You have too many attack points. But whatever these hand traps we need, we can actually toggle for. Next up here, we have some Rescue Ace. There's going to be a lot of this here. That Fire Attacker seeing side deck play is still hilarious to me. We also have Spellbounds in here to make sure that, we can do our thing. And then good old Reproducus, getting the chance to make the crazy lines that are the Firewall plays always is going to feel crazy good. But nothing else really too much sticks out to me here. There's just not a lot in here unless you're trying to get super saucy. Manadium. Hi, Triple Fenrir. That's a pretty big normal stay here. Hello, board breakers. How are you? We do play the one thrust to go into the talents. And we're playing a Prohibition down here in the side deck as well. Well, technically, if we do think our opponent's trying to get too saucy, you can just declare something that you think is going to be an issue, and then you just kind of start cleaning up from there. It's not really all that much of an issue, but you've got enough going on with this deck to kind of cover your bases. Okay, next up here we have Salamangreat. And of course, see, we are playing double Fenrir, which is fine in terms of deck build. I see we also have the triple crossout designators as well. You want to make sure that you can keep those keynotes going. And I mean, the worst thing a Salamangreat player wants to deal with is losing the game to a random hand trap, aka the giant rock in the sky. So yes, you are going to be playing cards like this to kind of have preventative measures to ensure that we can play the game. Next up here we have, I see that our Rescue Ace deck this time is trying out the package of the Assault that we were seeing in the very early days of this. It's not that it's totally faded off, it's just more people feel like cutting off the fat means that, you can have a little bit more optimized. You don't have to play multiple copies of these. We have our super poly targets. I feel like we're missing a Draco Knight, Draco Quest down here to get the full value out of that, but, that's fine. Next up here, we have some more Rescue Ace. Hello, triple copies of Fenrir. How are you? I want to make sure that, we can get that maximum value to tear through the opponent's field. We have enemy controllers to call our opponent's monsters on over to our field. Seems pretty standard, if you ask. Once again, like I said, a lot of these Rescue Ace decks, you get maybe 3 tech slots, and then, you decide if you're going to expand the deck out to even more cards than, a lot of the normal recommended people will go for. And our last version of the deck here is, see that we are playing the Light Hex Seal Fusion and the Chimera good stuff with the Fallen of Albaz. And, of course, you're just kind of toggling through the lines of play. The whole biggest thing here is, your Chimera stuff ensures that your deck has a good, solid backing, so you can kind of start toggling up and then do your thing. That is our doubleheader regional breakdown. I know that there wasn't a lot to talk about here, but there's so much of the same that we've seen. It's all pretty much engraved in our heads as to what's going on. So you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.